Hello everyone and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan. Thank you for supporting my channel. We're in front of the 135 gallon display tank that's in my dining room, and we're looking at dusk outside. So I've got the one of my favorite words, the gloaming. We're in the gloaming, as they say, that hour or so before nightfall. And I wanted to capture the aquarium in that unusual lighting, at least from the outside in. It makes the aquarium pop. I don't get the reflections from sunlight, but yet I don't get the flash or glare that might happen if I had the dining room light on or it was pitch dark out. So all that being said, I just wanted to film this beautiful aquarium for you. Maybe talk about a couple things, nothing in particular. This is sort of a show video. You know, the more I do this, the more I'm in the hobby, the more I'm into fish tubing, the more I realize I just like seeing other people's aquariums, right? I just like hearing them talk and looking at their fish and hearing some of the ups and downs they've been having. And if I have a specific topic, you know, a certain media for filter, a certain issue I'm having with a fish, a certain compatibility question, then I just search that on YouTube and I generally find what I'm looking for. But when I'm just sort of scrolling through my feeds, I love to watch fish room tours. And I like to give them, and I like to stand before you and talk about this hobby that I love so much. And this is my display aquarium, the only fish tank I don't have in the fish room. It occupies the living quarters of the house, so my wife will see this all the time and other family members when they come over. Not that my fish room is inaccessible, it's right there, but you know what I'm saying. A display tank needs to be a display. It's more than just, you know, fetishistic hobby stuff. It's a piece of furniture, it's a biosystem, it's I should say ecosystem, but it's everything and then some when it's in the general living conditions or situation of your home. Sorry, I'm kind of mushing up my language. Not a professional YouTuber. Is anybody really at this early on in that platform? I suppose the answer is yes, but I don't like the super duper professional fish tubers either. I mean, I love them, but I don't like them the way I like people just like you and me who, you know, we've been doing this a little while. We're sort of the business class, if you will. Not entry level, not the cheap seats back by the bathroom, but no way first class either. Somewhere in between, and that's where I'm at, and that's where I bet most of you are at. But look what you can accomplish even so. Look at this ecosystem. Overstocked? Probably. But have I had any aggression in the last few months from any fish to any other fish? No. And these angelfish have finally settled into their routine, established their territories. This is definitely a recessive fish, not a dominant, but he or she is fine to play a subordinate role to the more aggressive marble angelfish you see here, the lovely long fins and the gold head. He has become basically the tank boss, but after some chasing around in the early weeks, everything settled down, and each of my 4 angelfish have found their place in this aquarium, and I love them all to death. If I see the other 2, and undoubtedly we will, I'll point them out. The star of this tank might be these 3 Millennium rainbow fish. Look at that color. Are you kidding me? There they all are. I mean, it could be a red rainbow fish I talked about in the past. Them and the Millennium rainbow fish are super similar, although have a different scientific name. I'm not sure, I just know they're awesome. And these Bosemani's, now that they're getting really big, look at that half color, that distinct bicolor, luminescent orange-red on the back, accentuated by the green and shimmery tone in the front. This is another Bosemani rainbow fish, but from a different strain or catch point, and you can see the obvious different color of the back of its area before the caudal fin. A wonderful yellow, right? Maybe not as brazen as these colors, but how much fun is it to have two versions of the same fish in your tank? It's kind of why I have different kinds of angelfish as opposed to all of one kind. I wanted a species only angelfish tank in the very beginning when I was setting this up, and I even fantasized about Altum angels. But after I bought a group of one kind of angel, young ones, beautiful fish, paid a lot of money, none of them made it after a fashion. And I've learned so much since then, and the tank, you know, moreover got seasoned, and the plants really filled out, and the biological media became very active doing its job, and I think the fish just settled into a groove, and I don't intend to make the same mistake twice in terms of stocking. And, you know, in this case, it was trying to go for a massive species only tank. I mean, angelfish are aggressive to one another, more so than other fish, you know, and at first you think, yeah, but with tank this size, they're all gonna be fine. And you know, that wasn't the case for me, but it could be for you. I love watching all angelfish aquariums, and for that matter, all rainbow fish aquariums. I like the idea of a species only tank, but I wasn't able to make it work to my liking, and I didn't want to keep trying the same thing over and over again and getting a failure. So I committed to a community aquarium with some of my favorite fish and some new ones I've never kept before. I added live bears like these glorious veal-tail swordtails. Got about 4 of them in here. Sort of doesn't matter if they're male or female, because I don't think that strain actually can reproduce. I could be wrong, but I recall reading that the veal-tail swordtails of certain species are not capable of reproducing. But that's here nor there, because even if they did, those fry wouldn't survive 10 seconds in this aquarium. They would be healthy live fish food for these other inhabitants. And as I mentioned in other videos, I love giving live food to these fish, and that includes baby brine shrimp, which I hatch 24/7. And you think, oh, these fish are way too big, and you know, and yes, I don't just give them that, but I throw in 1,000 of these baby brine shrimp while I'm feeding my other smaller nano fish in the fish room, and they just go nuts. And I believe that they're appetizer size food, you know. Their eyes are way smaller than ours, and so what looks super tiny to us might seem like an agreeable morsel to them, even to these big angelfish. There's a classic silver angel. I know that's a female, and she's perpetually holding eggs, and I hope she either lays them without a fertilizing male or a spawn occurs. But don't hesitate to give baby brine shrimp, live baby brine shrimp, to your any size fish. They will chase them around, gobble them up, and it creates a wonderful feeding frenzy. And honestly, there are nano fish in here. They're bigger now because they're in this big tank, and they've been with me a year. But those Harlequin rasboras, I've got about maybe upwards of 2 dozen, probably closer to 15 or 16. And I've got these glorious wild caught cardinal tetras too. And they love baby brine shrimp, as you know. And so if nothing else, I'm giving it to them while I give the other fish maybe adult brine shrimp, frozen or live. I'll buy a bag of live adult brine shrimp. They don't keep more than a few hours, so I just drain the whole bag, rinse it under fresh water, and dump the contents into my tanks. And obviously these big fish love that too, but frankly, the baby brine shrimp's more nutritious because they haven't chewed up all their yolk sac like the adults, which are essentially potato chips. They don't have much nutritional value, but the intangible of live food is not to be underestimated. It's a great way to stimulate your fish's natural behavior, chasing down prey, versus just dumping flakes on the top. So I don't hesitate with live adult brine shrimp when I can find them, even though I know they lack the nutritional value of a lot of other prepared foods, and certainly their babies. What else can I tell you? I feed these fish a huge variety, as I do all my fish in the fish room. I believe variety is a great way to ensure that different fish are getting what they need without obsessing over which one or two foods you should get. Bug bites are right up there, but I do like a good flake food. Flakes are easier to feed my nano fish that won't eat food when it hits the bottom, and so I like flakes, and yet I only give flakes about 3 times a week. I do pellets, but sometimes the big pellets basically become catfish food, which is fine. I've got 40 of them in here somewhere. And I've also got, by the way, all these fun farawalla and whiptail catfish. I have a few different kinds in this tank. I even think they may have spawned, because I sort of found smaller ones that honestly I don't remember buying at that size. There's a stairby swimming away. There's a rogue black molly. I feed baby fish fry from my live bear tank into here, and once in a while one survives, and you know, if that happens, more power to them. See, there's a couple right there. I just threw these in as babies to get eaten, and they didn't get eaten, so now I've got a touch of black in this tank, and it's a great color, and fortunately both of those are showing the leer tail, so I'm very happy. And happy accidents and letting nature do what nature does is one of the great joys of this hobby. Unexpected spawning, seeing a baby fish when you didn't even know the adults were spawning, mixing unexpected kinds of fish like live bears and angelfish. I mean, people do it all the time, but it's not generally the go-to. And then plants, oh my gosh, the way some plants take over and then eventually are taken over themselves, and how you can pull them out and propagate them, and when they finally come into their own, like this glorious, I think it's a sword plant, but it could also be a long-leafed anubias. I'd have to check the rhizome. You know, why I'm saying a cognescence anubias is because I don't think I would have stuck a sword plant in between rock and wood. It's just not how you plant them. So I think this was a kind of anubias, but it displays like a sword, and it's occupying the center island exactly as I would fantasize that it would or could. And I'm so happy. Look at that centerpiece island, the way all the plants emanate from it, almost like a drawing. You know, this was supposed to be an island aquascape with, as I said, like 12 Altum angels and some Coriodoras. And so elements of that wish are still in existence. It is an islandscape, but to the right and left is the wonderful chaos of cryptocorn and pogostemon octopus, Balasinaria and back, sword plants and other anubias. I've got a wonderful Busha philandra garden kind of growing here. And if we move along the bottom, you know, it's more of the same on either side to get a bit of symmetry to the degree that you can manage something like that in an aquarium like this. But I'm very pleased. Oh, look, I think I'm just, nope, I thought that was a whiptail catfish. It's the underside of a cryptocorn. My bad. So let's see, before I sign off, this is that fat female, and I think if she's gonna spawn, it's gonna be with this great veal tail silver, those two. Now they've been paired up for the longest time in this tank, and I thought for sure I saw spawning behavior from the two of them, but I never saw or discovered the eggs anyway. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my display tank. As always, keep your hands in the tank, and ciao for now.